Welcome back to another edition of All Chiefed Up, where we do Kansas City Chiefs news and analysis. I am Steve, and I'm here with Mike. Today, we're going to be talking about everyone that they signed to the practice squad.
But first, if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so you know when we post. Go ahead and hit a like, leave a comment, talk some Chiefs football with us. If you do a super thanks over $4.99, we're sending out some keychains and some stickers.
Yeah, and if you're just joining us right now, be sure to go back and watch our past videos. Like all those, it helps us out tremendously, and we appreciate you. All right, guys, if you watched our video from yesterday, you probably realized it was pre-recorded. We were talking about who we wanted to see the Chiefs sign to the practice squad. There had already been a lot of signings to the practice squad, so we're going to go through those today. Mike, what do you got?
We got a lot of familiar names here. We got a lot of guys that we thought could have made the roster. I'll just name a few. We had Taylor Stallworth signed to the practice squad, Austin Ryder to the practice squad, Danny Shelton to the practice squad. Those three are big names. Of course, we have Elijah Lee on there. As soon as they put Bell to IR, he's obviously back on the roster. The other big name, Darius Fountain.
Right. So yesterday we were talking about how we really wanted to see Jerry and Ely on the practice squad. He's there. That's awesome because he does offer a lot. And I think that he's going to progress as he goes and he's going to make a good player eventually. And I think it's good that we have him on the practice squad. One that we don't see on there that we wanted to see was Mike Rose. He played really good in the preseason. He looked big, great on the blitz, but he does struggle with consistency. You know, one play you got dominant Mike Rose, the next play you have getting his butt whooped Mike Rose. So I can see why they didn't go forward with him. So it's not a huge deal. But like you said, Mike, there's a lot of familiar faces on this roster as far as the practice squad goes. You're going to see them popping back and forth, man, especially Darius Fountain. Anytime there's any kind of an injury going on with the wide receiver room, he's going to be there available to pull up and help out with that, as well as the linemen like Caliendo, Austin Ryder. You're probably going to see them pop up from time to time. So it's not the last you've seen of these guys this year as far as the actual 53-man roster goes.
No, we had a couple names on here that we thought should have been on the 53 man. Every channel out there said Danny Shelton was going to make the roster. He didn't. They decided to probably take the extra defensive end and Malik Herring. There was a time that people thought Zane Anderson could have got the spot over Deion Bush. He's now on the 53 man. Azur Kamara, the guy that we had picked up halfway through the preseason, he actually come in and done a pretty decent job when given the chance, made some splash plays. So this is a very, well, good Lord, we got Cornell Powell too. He was rumored to maybe possibly make the team at one point. This is a very deep practice squad, a very deep 53 man. Brett Veach, heck of a job this offseason, to be honest.
Absolutely. He made the team much younger. Average age of 24 and a half years old, one of the youngest in the entire league. That was his goal this offseason, and he nailed it. With the draft, I mean, out of all 10 draft picks that we took, 9 of them made the 53-man roster. So that just goes to show you that they're shifting towards younger guys. They're confident in their younger guys. And Brett Veach likes who he drafted. The only one that didn't make it was Najee Johnson, and now he's on the practice squad. You might see him come up in the next year or so. So, I mean, excellent. And we got a lot of draft capital next year.
We were talking about that earlier on the podcast. If you haven't got over there and listened to that, it's on all major platforms. We broke down the 53 man. We talked a little bit about everything. So, yeah, we had talked about next year. He's got a lot of draft capital. It's going to be in Kansas City. May Brett Veach do a little willing and dilling and get up the board, take some splash plays for the hometown crowd, fill out this roster the rest of the way. But I had another thought. What would have happened if Justin Ross could have stayed healthy and made this 53 man and not had that foot issue be lingering? So next year, he's got a good chance of getting on this roster. This team is young, and this team can be a dominating force for the next 10 years and for Patrick Mahomes' foreseeable future.
Absolutely. I'm loving the way this roster shaped up, loving all the youth. And like you said, next year in the draft, it's a hometown draft. Brett Veach may make some noise. He could use all that draft capital to trade up and maybe go ahead and find that solid right tackle, or maybe find that receiver that we can put on the rookie contract and be good for the next 5 years, or get a defensive tackle to go by Chris Jones and wreak havoc in there. There's lots of different ways it can go. So super exciting. Back to the practice squad, we had talked about how we wouldn't mind seeing Josh Gordon, Corey Coleman get on there as far as veterans. But Josh Gordon was signed to the Tennessee Titans today, so good for him. I'm glad. I hope it works out for him. He was nothing but class while he was here. Hopefully, it works out for him.
What's the deal with the Titans taking off our leftovers?
Hey, but you know what? Lonnie Johnson made the 53 man, and every Titans fan I know, which we're in Kentucky, know a lot of Titans fans because we're very close to Nashville. But yeah, they love Lonnie Johnson. They're talking about how good he's looked and how he's probably going to get a lot of playing time. So they're pumped on him. And they signed Josh Gordon today. So whoever we, cut next, they're probably going to Tennessee.
I think when it comes to Lonnie Johnson, him making the 53 man after just being picked up maybe like a week before that cut down, I think that speaks volumes to how Lonnie Johnson could be in a defense. And I think that just shows where we were headed. We were headed to more towards youth, more towards our draft picks. And we just kind of wanted to get that compensatory pick back probably.
Right. So one question I have for you is Corey Coleman. I thought Corey Coleman looked really good in camp and in the preseason, returning kicks. He even made a couple of receptions. He was the first round draft pick. We know he's super talented. He didn't even get an invite back to the practice squad. Do you think maybe he's got something going on with another team, or do you think did we just move on altogether?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just had enough defenders that they wanted to bring back, and like Kamara and Anderson and Cochran. Maybe there just wasn't enough room for him on there. They wanted to get more of the defensive side on there, or maybe that new quarterback they brought in, Ola Dukun, or how does he pronounce that?
Just make it up. Just make it
a
up.
lot. A lot. Maybe they wanted to bring him in. Maybe that's why Coleman got left off. But we had talked about that on the podcast as well. It makes sense to bring in another quarterback and see if we can develop. Now that we have Henny's replacement on the roster, we had to put Bouchel on it. So now once Henny goes next year, probably Bouchel slides into the number 2. Makes sense we develop. But we thought it was kind of weird they got rid of Dustin Kroom so quick, considering that offensive line kind of made it tough for us to evaluate him. But I guess they see more behind the scenes than we got to see. It's just a solid group front to back, to be honest. There's nothing else to be said. I'm excited to see how Najee progresses over the year too, and see if maybe next year he can get on the squad, and that makes every pick in this year's draft a hit.
So we're probably going to be back soon with a preview of week 1 against Arizona Cardinals. Super exciting. This season is finally kicking off, guys. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be fun. So make sure you're sticking around with us. If you're a new person on this channel, you've not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button right now. We're trying to get to 5K before the season ends. Make sure to hit the like button if you guys like our content, you like our channel, you want to help us out. Hit the bell, get notifications when we come out with new content. Also, any super thanks over $5, and we're going to send you guys a keychain and a sticker via mail. Mike, anything left for Chiefs Kingdom today?
No, man. Just excited that the season's coming. Next week, we're going to start in with the season schedule. So we got some new content coming your guys' way. Look forward to it. I don't know why we're swaying, but we're just going to keep doing it.
We're praising because it's the season, man. Okay, it's finally the regular season. But yeah, we will be dropping that new schedule with our content that we're going to be coming out with during the season, probably sometime next week. So stick around for that as well.
See you guys.
Aside from my soul.